this up. Again, one of the last two shows here. It might have even been the last show. It might have been show 252, right? So Factory Connection is trying to stage a comeback here. From what I understand behind the scenes here, and I've talked to some sources, so this is definitely a thing now, and it's been put out on a couple other podcasts, is Ziggy has been talking to Dylan Ferrandis, which is why we haven't got an announcement yet as to where Dylan's riding, because I don't think Dylan has signed a deal with HEP Suzuki like we all think he's doing. From what I understand, Ziggy's trying to put a team together very bootstrap, much like they did with Laraco back in the day when they started the original Factory Connection team that then formed into Geico Honda. And right now, the big holdup, from what I understand, is funding. They're lacking funding, and they might be lacking time to be able to even get anything done. So they're trying to find it. But that's a super interesting thing to think that maybe Factory Connection is coming back. And my fingers are crossed that they are. Now, two other parts to this whole thing. Number one is right now, officially, they're talking to Honda about doing it. Okay, that's great. But then I've heard that there are talks going on about possibly being a Ducati team when Ducati comes over here, which we'll get to a little deeper here in a second. So I don't know where that goes, but I'm not going to complain about more teams. Now, where does the funding come from? Who the hell knows, okay? We've seen the Triumph team bike debut here. Again, they're a monster Triumph team. Okay, how many more checks can Monster really write? I don't know. Here's the thing, though, is that the motocross side of things is so cheap for them that stroking a $500,000 check to them really isn't a big deal. So I don't know. I hope they find funding. I hope we see Dylan. It would be super interesting to see Dylan on kind of like a factory satellite Honda deal or something like that. I don't even know. I don't even know how it would go. I don't even know how many connections they still have, what kind of backdoor parts they could get. I have no idea. So but that's kind of what's up with Dylan, because he's like one of the last major pieces to fall here. So yeah. Okay. Next up, we are gonna do TLR tinfoil hat here. Okay, this is our conspiracy theory rumor mill TLR tinfoil hat. So we broke the news months ago that Ducati was coming out with a 450, and that got talked about through some people, through some back channels. I found out through the Ducati Moto America team, I think it was, that yes, they are actually developing a bike. They're developing a 450, and they are coming. That is 100% legit. Now, the news we broke originally was that Ducati had been out talking to people and had thrown a bunch of money at Cooper Webb. That, as far as I know, is still true. And we all know what happened, though. Cooper Webb went back to Star. He's comfortable with the bike, which I don't really blame him, because he's now seen the other side when you're not comfortable with the bike with what happened with KTM. So the new rumor mill here is that Ducati is now throwing a bunch of money at Roczen to sign him for the 2025 season. From what I understand, Ducati is chasing a very high-profile guy for when they bring the bike out. I don't know if they're going to be a one-man team, two-man team. I'm not sure. From everything I've heard, Ducati's in North America here, and they are going around. Like, I've heard they've been at club testing. I've heard they've been at club checking out their whole setup as far as team stuff goes. And yeah, I mean, they're coming. And it was discussed. This was actually discussed, which is crazy when you think about us dropping news and how much of an idiot we are and we don't know anything. But this was actually brought up on, I believe it was a Gypsy Tales podcast here not too long ago. And from what they know, Ducati's pissed because KTM came into MotoGP. They're very, very unhappy with it, and they said, okay, you want to come piss in our sandbox? We're going to come piss in yours. So from what I understand, Ducati is not even worried about the MXGP series. They don't care about that series. They want to come to the US and they want to piss all over KTM's parade. And I'm here for it. I'm 100% here for it. Now, the rumor going around this last weekend here is that they are actually have basically signed, sealed, and delivered. Cairoli's going to be a test rider for him. So that'll be interesting to see because, man, he had such a long career there with KTM and you know, has kind of stepped into a whatever role with them. So if he switches over to Ducati here to be a test rider, that would be super interesting. And then again, too, to sign Roczen for 2025 would also be super interesting, but I think a super good move to really push the brand off here in the US. Now we're going to get into the deep, dark crevices here of the TLR tinfoil hat here. So let's get into this. So this is how this all breaks down in my mind. Roczen signed a 1-year deal re-up with the Hep Suzuki team, okay, which means he's locked in with Hep Suzuki for 2024. Now, let's go back a few months. Roczen signs a 3-year deal with World Supercross, okay? So obviously this year, number 1, 2024, number 2, but we're still going to have to do 2025. Now, from what I understand, Roczen, again, was kind of shopping around a little bit here before he re-upped with Hep. But the problem is that like, he can't go to KTM because DeCoster doesn't like him. Obviously, he's done with Honda because of the way the whole Honda thing went down. Kawasaki's really full, so whatever. He's not going to Star because they're full. Obviously, he can't do Husky or Gas either. So he's kind of locked in where he is. Now, but let's go back. He only signed a 1-year deal. So that means come 2025, he is going to be a free agent again. Ducati, from what I understand, is making a huge push to be in the U.S. racing come 2025. It was supposed to be 26. They've pushed the project forward, okay? So now it's 2025, okay? They signed Roczen for a 1-year deal in 2025, which means they get a high-profile guy who can come out, get decent finishes in Supercross, because I'm sure they're not worried about motocross, and also as just a side kicker, will race the World Supercross Series in 2025 also. So now you have a guy that is literally all Supercross all the time, showcasing your new bike. I believe 2025, and again, I'm not 100% sure on this, so if you know, comment down below. I believe 2025 is the last year of the Lawrence's contract with Honda. So now we're really getting deep in the TLR tinfoil hat here. So Roczen rides 25 for Ducati, premieres the bike, huge following, huge ordeal, awesome. At the end of 2025, they signed the Lawrence brothers to a gigantic deal. I am talking combined probably more than $10 million combined for both dudes to ride the 450 for the next however many years. I'm sure it'll be more than a 2-year deal because they're going to want to really lock someone up. So you now have gone from essentially what was the biggest international star in the U.S. as far as motocross and supercross went with Ken Roczen to now you have the 2 hottest, newest prospects for the motocross and supercross. You've got a kid that goes undefeated his rookie season. Who knows what's going to happen in supercross? They've both won 250 titles. The Hunter brothers are it. So I believe Ducati will premiere in 2025 with a minimal of Roczen as a one-man 450 team to break the brand out here. And then they will come in 2026 with both Lawrence brothers as a 2-man 450 team. And I don't know if they're going to have a 250. I know the 450 is their main concern. TLR tinfoil hat. Comment down below what you think of that. But that's about the best I got there. And let's see here. I think one more thing to wrap the show up here. Holsterco Reload Rant. Brought to you by our friends at Holsterco. Make sure to check them out. Link in the description down below. They now make these handy-dandy flask holders, which are awesome. Okay, number 1, everybody loves a good flask. Everybody loves a good tasty adult beverage. Number 2, a 2-clip system here, which is fantastic. 1 clip, 2 clip, boom. can lock it on your belt. There's little pieces in here. I did remove them. There's little pieces. They accommodate everything up to a 2 1/4 inch belt, I believe. I locked this on the side cage of my Bobcat because I don't have an enclosed cab, so I can take this with me, do a little sippy sip while I'm working on the track. It's all good. So make sure to check them out. Again, link in the description down below. Order yours today. All sorts of different colors. I'm trying to get him to do some really, really cool designs. There's a couple I think we're going to have coming down the tube, so keep your eyes out there. Holster Co. flask holder there. It's awesome. Holster Co. Reload Rant. All y'all out there who are hating on Team USA, and especially, I saw this the other day, fucking pissed me off. The Christian Craig hate. Fuck off. Okay, the guy was on the bike for 6 weeks. He put his hand up. He came out to ride for the country, and he rode, and he did what he could. Okay, he had 2 crashes. Okay, that happens. I saw literally one of the stupidest fucking posts, and this is the kind of stuff that you fucking morons post online. I don't understand why Craig keeps getting rides. Simple, buddy. Who else you gonna fucking hire? The guy's a top 5 dude outdoors when he's healthy. No problem. We've all seen that. Every single year for the last 2 or 3 years, they've put him on a 450 outdoors. Guy runs top fucking 5. Okay, great. He won a 250 title last year in Supercross. A 250 title. And I saw some of you guys talk about like Nichols and stuff. Nichols is not as good outdoors, okay? Nichols did win a title. Nichols is not as good as Christian Craig. I'm sorry, I said it. Nichols is a great rider. He's not Christian Craig, okay? Craig has better whoop speed. Craig is a smoother rider than Nichols is. Not by a lot, but a little bit. But I'm just sorry. Like, you just can't. And on top of that, like, Nichols was off all last year because he got hurt, okay? Plus, he has a factory ride now. He's riding factory beta for the next year, 2 years, something like that. So, I don't understand. You guys talk about him. You talk about AC. I mean, AC's riding with one fucking arm and is well inside the top 10, if not top 5 on days. So, like, what the fuck do you want from the guy? He can't fucking hold on. And then the whole Craig hating thing. Like, I just don't understand. Just come out and say, like, I hate Christian Craig. Start your post with, I hate Christian Craig. Why is he getting rides? Then we all know you're an asshole, and we can just move on from it, okay? So, that's my Holster Co. Reload rant. Fired me up the other day. I was pissed. I had to read a bunch of comments. I had to make a bunch of comments. Fucking morons. It's all you that are hating on him. The Craigs are some of the nicest people in the pits. So, anyway, okay. That has been show 253. Thanks to all our sponsors, Complete Racing Solutions, TLR Coatings, Holster Co., Gutter Works, Adept Creative Co., Isaac Nelson Designs. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on everything we've got going on. I don't know when the next show will be or the next clip or any of it, because these are going to be completely random here through the off season. We'll show up a couple weeks before Anaheim 1 with our Supercross preview shows, so make sure to check those out. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see y'all on the next one.